Good evening, this is the Northern Sun Experience. I'm David Brown, and we're starting to see a separation between the North and South divisions in NSIC football. Going into the last weekend of interdivisional play, teams from the South had won 16 of the first 24 games. That includes 4 different 3-0 teams, while the North had only one 3-0 team. And the only undefeated matchup this weekend was at Winona State's homecoming, as the Warriors hosted 3-0 Minnesota Duluth. First quarter, Winona State works the play action. Jack Nelson, the Josh Mikas 32-yard strike, Warriors up 7-0 early. The Bulldogs would struggle to score in the first half. This 30-yard field goal by Andrew Breeze would cut the Warrior lead to 7-3 at halftime. Second half, more play action from Nelson. A fake Statue of Liberty on this 57-yard connection to Allen May. 14-3 Winona State in the third. But the Bulldogs would fight back. Drew Bauer to Nate Ricci, 12 yards out. That ties the game at 21 with just 10 minutes to go. After the Warriors go 3 and out on their next drive, Bauer hits Ricci again. 28-21 Bulldogs, and that would be your final. Minnesota Duluth comes back to remain undefeated. Another undefeated team, Minnesota State, was at Bemidji State. Beavers actually lead this game 10-6, but they couldn't hold on for long. Third quarter, Ricky Lloyd to Dorian Buford, 24-yard strike, gives the Mavs a 13-10 lead, and they would not relinquish it. Later in the third, Lloyd and Buford hook up again, this time from 30 yards out. That increased the Maverick lead to 20-10. Fourth quarter, Lloyd decides to keep it himself. Off the play action, 34-10 at that point, and the Mavericks stay hot, going 4-0 with a 34-16 win at Bemidji State. Sioux Falls also hoping to remain undefeated as they travel to Moorhead to take on the Dragons. President Ann Blackhurst delivering the game ball via helicopter. We'll have more on her later. First quarter, Cougars on the move. Luke Papillion decides to take it himself, 20-yard QB keeper, and USF's up 7-0 early. Later in the first, it's all reliable Nephi Garcia with a 1-yard plunge to make it 14-0. And the gas pedal would stay firmly on the ground. Play action this time as Papillion hits Brady Rose from 9 yards out, 21-0 at that point. Still in the first quarter, Papillion with another option play, and once again he decides to keep it himself. 28-0 at that point, the Coup dropped 35 in the first quarter, en route to a rout, 73-21 over the Dragons. The other Sioux Falls school, Augustana, looking to defend its turf against UMary. You saw that game live right here on Midco Sports Network. And this one was all Vikings. First quarter, Trey Hyde working the play action to perfection, hits Matt Gary's 61-yard strike, 7-0 Augustana. Second quarter now, Augie working the ground game as CJ Ham gets in from 1 yard out, 14-0 Vikings. Late second quarter, Augie caps its 2-minute drill in style. Hyde hits Matt Heller on the 34-yard fade, 24-0 Vikings at the break. Second half, Augie would run away with it. Ham gets through the line and has a lane all the way to the end zone, 29-yard score, 31-0 at that point, and the Vikings win their homecoming game, blanking the Marauders 52-0. When we come back, the rest of Saturday's football action, including a last-second finish between Northern State and Southwest Minnesota State.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by CU Mortgage Direct LLC, Sanford Health, and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience. Well, Northern State seems to like things away from Swisher Field in Aberdeen. The Wolves have lost their 2 home games this season by a combined 65 points, while winning their only road games so far at Concordia St. Paul in Week 2. On Saturday, Northern State was on the road again, taking on Southwest Minnesota State in Marshall. And this one had quite a bit of scoring from all areas, starting with special teams. Andrew McReynolds fields the punt for the Mustangs, goes one way, reverses field, gets a couple of blocks, and he is gone. 89 yards to the house, a new school record. SMSU up 7-0. Tied at 7 now in the second, Northern State works the play action. Jared Jacobson to Jared Hannigan. Women must be swooning everywhere because he went to Jared. 51-yard strike makes it 14-7 Wolves. Later in the second, a much shorter touchdown this time as Nick Truen leaps in from 2 yards out. 21-13 Northern State. Later in the half, Mustangs try to keep it close. Charlie Kern hits Adam Olson on the slant. That cuts the lead to 28-20 at halftime. Fourth quarter, SMSU still playing catch-up. Kern hits Nathaniel Hewitt for the score. That makes it 37-35 Northern. We're tied at 43 with just seconds to go when the Wolves' Nathan Shaw hits a 36-yard field goal as time expires. Northern wins a shootout 46-43. In another all-Minnesota battle, Crookston visited Concordia St. Paul. First quarter, Jared Russo finds his favorite target, Cordell Smith. 46-yard pitch and catch, Golden Bears take an early 7-0 lead. The Golden Eagles try to claw back, but Ben Buchholz is picked off by Chaz Roberts. The Golden Bear defense was on its game. Second quarter now, Russo finds Smith again in the back of the end zone, 2-yard strike, 20-3 Concordia at halftime. Second half, Golden Bears shine brighter than the Golden Eagles. Russo airs it out to a wide-open Sammy Bosham, 30-3 Concordia, and then they decide to work the ground game as Trey Spears follows his blockers en route to a 24-yard score. Concordia St. Paul gets its first win of the year, 44-3 over Minnesota Crookston. In other conference action, Wayne State went north to Minot State. First quarter, check out the fake punt by Aaron Ladeau. Gets the first down easily. That led to a Beavers field goal. It's 3-0. Later in the first, Wildcats strike back. Ryan Ludlow gets in from 1 yard out. Wayne State leads 7-3. 17-3 at halftime when Minot State strikes back. Zach Kuna to Glenn Burrell, 76 yards in stride. That cuts the lead to 17-10. It's now 20-10 when Burrell gets his second score of the day, evading tacklers on the short comeback, 20 yards to the house. That cuts the lead to 20-17. The Beavers would have one last chance to tie or possibly take the lead, but Kuna is sacked, he fumbles, and it's recovered by the Wildcats. Wayne State runs out the clock from there in a 20-17 road victory. The last of the unbeatens, Upper Iowa took on St. Cloud State. Tied at 7 in the first when Cole Jaschke hits a diving Trey McTaggart in the end zone. 14-7 Peacocks in the second. They're up 17-7 now when the Huskies respond with this 1-yard touchdown by Liddell White. Third quarter, Jaschke finds a wide-open Derek Giesking from 20 yards away. That gives Upper Iowa another 10-point lead, but the rest of the game would be a battle of the backs. White tries to go right, he's stuffed, reverses field, and he is gone. 67 yards to pay dirt. The lead is cut once again to 3 at 24-21. A field goal ties it at 24 when Chris Smith gives the Peacocks the upper hand once again. This 14-yard scamper gives Upper Iowa a 31-24 lead midway through the fourth. Huskies driving, and watch this. Nate Meyer fumbles near the goal line, but it's recovered by White in the end zone. We're tied at 31 late in the fourth. But Upper Iowa mounts one last drive, and Smith finds some room and gets in. 19-yard touchdown with just 5 seconds left. Check it out again. They were just trying to center it for a field goal, but Smith takes it all the way. 208 yards, 3 touchdowns, including the game winner, as Upper Iowa moves to 4-0 with a thrilling victory over St. Cloud State. Well, here's a look ahead to Saturday's football slate. The 1 p.m. games kick off with St. Cloud State looking to get back on track. They're at winless Minnesota Crookston. Winona State travels to Nebraska for Wayne State's homecoming. At 2, Minnesota State has its homecoming game hosting Southwest Minnesota State. Minot State visits Northern State for Gypsy Days in Aberdeen. Bemidji State is at UMary, while all the 4-0 teams get to start division play at home. Undefeated Sioux Falls hosts Concordia St. Paul. 4-0 Minnesota Duluth hosts MSU Moorhead. And in the game of the night, we have 3-1 Augustana visiting 4-0 Upper Iowa. We'll have highlights of all of these games on next week's show. Well, some Northern Sun schools had a great showing at one of the country's premier cross-country tournaments. Highlights from the Roy Griak Invitational are next.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by CU Mortgage Direct LLC, Sanford Health, and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back. Since 1986, one of the premier cross-country tournaments around the nation has been right here in Northern Sun territory. The Roy Griak Invitational, named after the legendary University of Minnesota track coach, held its 2014 tournament in St. Paul. We'll start with the women's 6,000 meters, where the NSIC took 7 of the top 10 places in D2, including the top 4. But in the end, it was Samantha Rivard, a sophomore from Minnesota Duluth, who took home the gold. She finished with a time of 22:02.8, a full 10 seconds ahead of Sasha Hoven from Northern State, who took second. Minnesota Duluth also took home the team championship, and after the win, Rivard discussed how her training propelled her to victory.
This summer I just cranked up my mileage a lot, and we practiced pretty hard a couple weeks before this and then took it down just a little bit this past week because we all did want to perform here, and I think we did. We all came out. I saw a bunch of my teammates come in right after me, so super psyched. I mean, we kind of expected it. I don't know, too confident, but we did it. We pulled through. Everyone stayed strong.
Later in the day, it was the men's turn at the 6,000 meters, more than 400 competitors hoping to bring home the gold. A tight contest throughout, but a Canadian runner named Matt Johnson took home first place. However, in a battle for second, Augustana's Paul Yak beats out Robert Peterson from MSU Billings by just a nose. Yak was technically running unattached, but the Vikings also took home second place in the team championship, the highest finish among NSIC schools. Well, the University of Mary had a mixed bag at the GRIAC. While the women finished 5th out of 33 teams, the men only finished 23rd. But considering that most competitors were underclassmen, it shows the Marauders are definitely a team on the rise. Our UMary correspondent Marissa DiCandido takes a look at how the team is using its youth to build for the future.
As soon as the Marauders cross-country runners lace up their shoes, it's time to put in some serious work.
94.
Because for these runners, good isn't good enough.
We still got a lot of work to do, really. We're a really young team. So we're happy with a lot of performances, but we're definitely just gonna keep the grind going. We got a lot of work to do still, that's for sure.
There's only 4 seniors on the entire team, 2 men and 2 women. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. This year's team has a lot of depth, especially on the women's side.
We're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 girls deep this year. And so when somebody gets sick or somebody gets hurt, hopefully we can fill those roles very easily.
That can only happen if every individual is in top shape physically and mentally. That's why Coach Newell combines runs, strength workouts, and recovery routines in their training.
If people just looked at it and said, well, I can run 45 minutes to an hour every day, and so can I. It doesn't mean I'm going to be a great athlete. It doesn't mean I'm going to be a true champion or reach my potential. Like anything else, any other sport, I don't think we're really that different than anybody else out there. We have to do a plethora of different things to really, really reach our potential.
And Newell says to be a true champion, you have to develop teamwork just as much as you develop skill.
In the middle of a race, you're halfway through and your legs are tired and you just don't want to keep going. It's so easy to just quit and stop and say, Coach, I can't do it. But then you think about your teammates, who you're running for. You're not running for yourself, you're running for your teammates.
Although the women are currently ranked nationally, that doesn't mean much to this team. They say they have a long way to go before reaching their goal of making it to nationals.
Well, speaking of running, we showcased one avid runner from Minnesota State Moorhead a few weeks ago, and it just happens to be the school's new president. Dr. Ann Blackhurst has always been a fan of keeping in shape, and she used that passion this past week to raise money for scholarships. MSU Moorhead correspondent John Wepking has more.
The Wednesday night of Dragon Homecoming 2014 held an unprecedented event for MSUM. Our new president, Dr. Ann Blackhurst, raised over $1.2 million by running 50 laps around the Ron Masons track at NSIC Stadium, making it the most successful fundraiser in MSUM history. Not only did she run for over 2 hours, she also ran up the tab of $50,000 of her own money. Her personal pledge of $1,000 per lap was one of many pledges to raise funds for MSUM students. The biggest gift of all was the 50th lap, where locally headquartered Shields celebrated the last lap with a total gift of $1 million. The funds going to MSUM makes the students the real winners, but all night long, students won prize after prize after prize as they cheered on their new president. They even joined in on her journey, taking a victory lap after all 50 laps were completed. Blackhurst is an avid long-distance runner, frequently running marathons, but this road race was unlike any she'd done before, kicking off her presidency by doing what she loves for the students she loves.
All right, joined here by President Ann Blackhurst, just ran 50 laps for the long run, the largest fundraiser in MSUM history with over $1.2 million, including $50,000 of your own. I know it's kind of bittersweet saying goodbye to all that money, but you're probably pretty excited to what it's going towards.
I am. I'm so excited for many reasons. One, the support tonight was absolutely overwhelming, especially from our students, and that feels really good. I'm excited because we raised over $1.2 million, and a lot of it is going towards student scholarships. It's all going to things that benefit students. And I'm really excited because a lot of people invested in MSUM, community members, alumni, students, faculty, staff, and that feels really good to know that people believe we are worth it. That's really what I wanted to convey tonight with my own donation, with my run. I believe in MSUM. I believe we're worth the investment.
When we come back, our Under the Northern Sun feature showcases Augustana College, where we spend the day in the life of a Viking volleyball player.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by CU Mortgage Direct LLC, Sanford Health, and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back. For this week's Under the Northern Sun feature, we showcase Augustana College, although to be more specific, we feature Augustana volleyball player Bailey Cook. Last Tuesday, Cook and her Vikings traveled to SMSU for a conference showdown. Here's how she balanced her schoolwork with her volleyball duties, all while walking really, really fast.
Bailey, turn off your alarm. Hi, my name is Bailey Cook, and I'm a sophomore here at Augustana. I'm a right side hitter for the Augustana volleyball team, and I'm from Litchfield, Minnesota, and a pre-law major.
So it sounds like this. Okay.
Right now, I'm going to politics in a diverse world. We are now walking to the Elman for game time. And the team! And we found your stuff! Thanks!
This is Courtney East reporting live from SMSU Marshall, where the Augustana Vikings are about to take on the Mustangs. We're going into the locker room. Let's go. Here's Bailey Cook. What do you have to do tonight to pull out a big W?
Teamwork makes the dream work.
What are your goals going into the game?
Just stop.
There you have it. Augustana volleyball team.
My name is Bailey Cook, and I hope you enjoyed seeing what it's like to be a Viking for a day.
When we come back, it's the top 5 plays of the past week in the NSIC. You're watching the Northern Sun Experience.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by CU Mortgage Direct LLC, Sanford Health, and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back. Let's honor the best of the best with DB's picks, my top 5 plays from the past week in the NSIC. At number 5, we head to Minot, where the Beavers say, why not, to this fake punt from Aaron Ladeau. Fakes out the entire Wayne State defense and goes 16 yards into Wildcat territory. That led to a Beavers field goal to start the game, but the Wildcats would end up victorious. Nevertheless, the why not from Minot is number 5. At number 4, we head to sunny Kirkaby Over Stadium, where Trey Hyde was raining touchdowns. The play action to Matt Geary for 61 yards. That was Augie's first score of the game, but it would not be their last. The Vikings dropped 52 on a shutout of the U-Mary Marauders, but the 6 prettiest points came from Hyde to Gary. They check in at number 4. At number 3, Winona State once again gets tricky. The play-action Statue of Liberty from Jack Nelson to Alan May, 57-yard touchdown. The Warriors would lose the game, so it may be tricky to win, and it may be tricky to rock a rhyme that's right on time, but as far as trick plays are concerned, the Warriors are pure magicians. Nelson to May is play number 3. At number 2, we head to the Roy Griak Invitational, where Minnesota Duluth sophomore Samantha Rivard had a riveting performance. She wins the women's 6,000-meter race and leads her Bulldogs to a team championship. Rivard was 10 seconds ahead of second place, and she lands the second spot on my top 5. But for the second week in a row, the top play goes to Upper Iowa running back Chris Smith. It was a 99-yard run last week, and this week it's only a 19-yard run. But this touchdown with 5 seconds left gave the Peacocks a 37-31 victory at St. Cloud State. Upper Iowa is 4-0 at the top of the South Division, and Chris Smith once again is at the top of my top plays. Well, once again, a thank you to all of our NSIC member schools for contributing their time and video to make this show happen. For all of our member schools and for Midcoast Sports Network, I am David Brown. We'll see you next week on The Experience.